Hey there, fellow gamers. It's the Ramblin' Manager bringing you another track tonight, and boy, is it going to be an interesting month or so. We have horrible news apparently that some sort of like scam called the day before or something like that. Like a game that's supposed to have like The Last of Us vibes and MMO survival might be a scam because 1 minute it's delisted on Steam due to a bug, and now it's 9 months delayed because of a fucking trademark issue. Okay, sure. Forspoken just came out. No, thank you. But in terms of good news, in the span of probably like 3 weeks here, we're going to be getting, Hogwarts Legacy, which I'm still, somewhat adamant about. But in less than 2 days, 48 hours, the Dead Space remake's going to come out. And I saw some recent gameplay footage on an IGN video, like what they know so far about, like some gameplay that was shown off in it. Credit where credit is due. It does look like the people working on this game are definitely enhancing it. Great graphics. Some of the new gameplay features look really fucking gnarly. I saw the whole peeling system in action. Just basically seeing a necromorph turn to like Wolverine there, just seeing like their muscular system and shit was just fucking wild. And if it's true, like 80-90% of the game here is going to be, relatively the same to the original game, but there's going to be like some like small minor differences. It could work. It doesn't sound like it's going to be like the Destroy All Humans remake. That was like practically a one-to-one recreation, just brand new graphics. This one is gonna be more along the lines of what's a good example? Probably something similar to the Resident Evil 2 remake. But it's like in between. If there was like a scale, Resident Evil 3 remake, cut fucking content all to high hell. That's not how you do a remake. Then you have Resident Evil 2, which was relatively decent. They still omitted a couple things, but for the most part, it did a fine job of just getting the game out there and explaining the story. Then you have Dead Space remake, and then you have Destroy All Humans remake, which is a one-to-one remake. I put somewhere around there because some of the things, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember it going down like this, but there's like a couple of key differences. I don't want to say anything because it's just like there are some differences. Now, obviously, I still have some complaints. I still don't think they should have, changed Nicole and Isaac the way they are now, like how they look. But mods will fix that. I like to think because it's a more modern engine, it's the Frostbite, and I've seen like what they could do with Mass Effect Andromeda. They could probably do some shit for the faces, so I don't care about that. One thing that I noticed though, which was kind of the inspiration for this mini ramble here, was back to the peeling system. They showed off like some of like the destructive power that the pulse rifle has now. No more 360-degree like radial waste of fucking ammo here. No, it's just you can launch trip mines apparently, which I'm like, oh, trip mines. I remember something like that from an older game. I think that was the fuck was it? I think it was the mine launcher from Dead Space 2. They're basically putting on there. It could still act like a grenade launcher, but now you can place the grenades on surfaces. I guess it's a good way to like lay down some like covering positions in case you're hunkering down in certain areas to face against some necromorphs. But I'm like, there's only one instance where I remember that happening. That was in that one segment where at the start you had to restart the Ishimura's engines. But who knows? Maybe it could still work. But the one thing I noticed was that in terms of using the pulse rifle against the enemy, that's where the peeling system came into play. It felt like with the plasma cutter, it was still working how it was intended. A couple shots on the leg, boom, you dismembered it, and you can just follow the same similar style. Shoot the leg off, shoot another limb off, boom, they're dead. Although maybe it does take like an extra limb to take them out. Who knows? You never know how they're changing this game up. But in the case of the pulse rifle, I remember it clear as day. in the original Dead Space that, yeah, the pulse rifle did like half the damage of the plasma cutter, but because of that, it had a massive firing rate increase. So long as you didn't miss the follow up shot on it, every burst was a 2 round burst. It was 10 damage. So theoretically speaking, in 2 to 3 bursts, 4 to 6 rounds, you can dismember a limb. And once you down a fucking enemy like that, they're done. Unless it's like the black ones. I don't know a better name for them. They're just the black necromorphs. Okay, I'm sorry. It's facts. The black necromorphs typically have double the fucking resistance, so they take a little bit more bullets. But for the casual necromorph, few shots from the pulse rifle on a leg, boom, they fall down. Shoot off an arm, they're dead. In the remake, though, it looks like it takes a few extra rounds from the pulse rifle to actually like snap that limb off, because the peeling system, it looks like it's actually hanging a little bit by like a few threads and whatnot. So it may not even count as like a full dismember to like actually put the fucker down. Which there's pros and cons to that, right? Because I remember back in the day, like I remember even from a video, like I think I did a video about which weapon was better, the plasma cutter or the pulse rifle, and I said the pulse rifle hands down, because yeah, it doesn't have as much damage, but in terms of ammo capacity, firing rate, all that shit, it was just a hugely more effective weapon so long as you utilize the dismemberment correctly. But in the remake, it doesn't look like that's gonna be the case, especially if like the skinning system, the peeling system is going to act like an extra layer of armor for them, so to speak. When you're using something like the pulse rifle, it's going to diminish the damage drastically and probably make you waste even more ammo. But I think of it as like somewhat of a positive in a narrative sense, because narratively speaking, it's like whenever you hear audio logs of like people trying to take out the necromorphs, or even Dead Space 2 where you see some of the security soldiers trying to take them out, pulse rifles do fuck all. Somehow yours does just fucking fine, but when they try doing it, it doesn't help. The lures that, when you try shooting them normally, it doesn't work. They don't really die. What you gotta do is you gotta destroy the limbs, like dismember them to actually put them down for good. But even then, like a necromorph isn't truly dead. You see, like, even after you dismember them, you still see like tendrils and stuff moving around where the appendage is. So maybe with the remake, they're trying to make it so that the pulse rifle is a little bit weaker to encourage you to use like more mining tools and all that shit, which does kind of suck because I'm still a fan of the pulse rifle. There's a couple ways they can rectify it. One way is like towards the end of the game, it gets a bigger boost of damage or something, or it's like some way you can customize it. Maybe sacrifice the ammo. Who knows? Maybe you can like sacrifice half a magazine capacity but do a little bit more damage so it's a little bit more effective. Or what I would actually love, because we kind of got gypped out on it for the PC users, they could bring back the original weapon packs as like rewards. Similar like how in Dead Space 2 you can unlock special outfits and shit whenever you do it on higher difficulty levels. Maybe that can encourage you to do higher difficulty levels because you'll unlock different skin packs. Like, say, for example, you play on very easy mode, you'll get the Hot Rod pack. Shows you're a pussy, you're compensating for something, you get yourself like a fucking meager like firing rate boost for some of your weapons. Ooh, ha ha ha, you're so fucking fancy, you beat the game on the easiest difficulty level, congratulations. But then if you decide to torment yourself and just play it on impossible mode, you get yourself the fucking high powered pack, the fucking, the black and the black weapons with the blue lights on it was reserved for the plasma cutter, the pulse rifle, the contact beam, and some other weapon I can't recall. But if I'm right, those weapons did like double the fucking damage. So it'd be nice if there's like you can earn like the original DLC packs from the original Dead Space release as rewards for doing higher difficulty levels, because it's just like, unless you own a console version of it, you can't get it anymore. You cannot get that DLC. It was never released on PC. The only way you can have like any resemblance is probably through mods to retexture it, but you don't get the same benefits. And as far as I'm concerned, like the benefits, that's all there was. Like the hot rod pack or the scorpion pack gave you a firing rate increase. Okay, cool. But the two standout ones were the military packs and the high powered packs. If I'm right, that they said the high powered packs did more damage than the military packs, but you can bet your ass if you're playing on normal mode and you use like the military like pulse rifle, besides the fact that it's like a matching gun with your military suit, which now I'm thinking about, I'm scared to see what the fucking remake military suit looks like. Oh my god. It makes me wonder, like, no, if when you went over to the military weapon, it still did enough damage to just completely destroy enemies to the point where you can even just like shoot them on the torso in a couple bursts quicker, and they'll drop just as easily. But I don't know. I mean, if this encourages us to actually use the other tools at our disposal, that'll be pretty cool. But you know what? I think I gotta do what I did originally. I'm gonna do. I don't know if I did it as a first playthrough, if I did it on a second playthrough, but you know what? I'm gonna be committed, right? I'm gonna play through the entire remake. Just plasma cutter. No other weapon. Fuck the pulse rifle. Fuck the line gun. Fuck all of it. I'm just going strictly one gun. One gun, motherfucker. And if that ain't an achievement in there, I'll be severely disappointed. But, who knows? I mean, it's only a couple more days till release, and I'm not holding my co-host, my engineer, so to speak, to this, but he's saying that he might, or he will. He's saying he will buy the game for me. I'm still saying he doesn't have to, where it's a tight economy. I have a bunch of games in my backlog. I won't be upset at all if he decides to, like, tomorrow say, oh yeah, I can't do it. It's like, it's fine, no problem. But he's saying he might do it, and maybe there'll be a special treat for some of you guys. Maybe some new viewers, who knows. But there may be a treat later on down the line regarding the Dead Space remake. We'll just have to see what happens. If he holds up his end of the bargain, let's just say I'm going to have to hold up my end of the bargain. But, I don't know. I mean, I'm leaning towards favorable right now. I'm hoping it's good. I mean, if like the majority of it's still the exact same game, but it looks beautiful, fine by me. I mean, I know my computer's gonna have a hard ass time running it, but who knows? Maybe this will be the remake of remakes. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I think I took up enough of your guys' time. Usual YouTube chant. Let me know what you guys are excited about for the remake. And most importantly, like, do you think it'll sell good enough, or do you think there'll be enough positive reception that maybe we'll get a remake of the sequel? Because I'd say above all else, if I had to choose between the first or second one getting a remake, I would say the third one deserves a remake more than any of them. But Dead Space 2 I hold more dear to my heart, because that was probably the one I played a lot more, because it wasn't such a huge departure from the original. It was kind of like to me, it was the Resident Evil 4 of the Dead Space series, because they made it a little bit more action-packed. It was a lot more grander in scale. They definitely, like, gave Isaac a more, like, commanding role, so to speak. Similar, like, Resident Evil 2, Leon's a pussy rookie, and then Resident Evil 4, he's just like, oh yeah, I'm going to take everyone on. Fuck all of y'all. Kind of a similar thing. But, yeah, that's all for now. We'll see what happens in the next couple days. Rambling Manager's clocking out for now. Probably going to give myself some cancer in Valheim tonight. But otherwise, stay safe, y'all. And, make us whole.